peace. And happy now. Now is a vibrator course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. It's the only moment that exists right now. I want to speak to the balancing of energies and how our spiritual awakening, for one, on our spiritual awakening, we got to realize you got to be fluid like water. You can't have this which is getting into the topic I'm going to get into, but when you're taking sides, like, well, I believe in just this, and some new information come up that, that factual and real, that may deter you from that point that you were trying to stand on. And then if you're being egotistically stubborn about it, like, well, no, I chose to identify with this, or even though it's wrong, I'm going down with this ship. That's why you realize a lot of people who have that mentality that don't grow spiritually, or kind of catch a vibe where they just seems like they, they kind of feel like it's spiritually immature in essence to have that little standpoint. But you got to be able to be fluent. You got to be able to be told that meditation is the way, and then if somebody come around and find out like, meditation was a trap, the guys tricked us, you gotta be ready to like vibe and change up, instead of like, oh no, I did a bunch of videos on meditation and I invested, things change, the information change, I'm not saying that about meditation, but I use that as an example because something that's that we all know, like, meditation really do helps, and we've seen it help. But if some more information come out about like, well, no, it's even a better way or a different way or some of that nature, if you was to be stubborn about like doing things the way you've done it before or whatever, then you wouldn't get to that next spot of growing, because you would stay stubborn and stuck in those ways. But thinking about the spiritual awakening, how at one time, for a small part, I thought that it was just going to be about a complete feminine, overtaking and overrising, until I got that download of like, well, no, that's going to continue the cycle of this side against that side, and that side against this side, And it's more of, the only reason why the feminine energy is coming on strong, because it's been away for so long, And two, there's different levels to people bringing in that energy. You got some of us that's meant to bring in that energy with our, with no foot on the brakes, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like some people mashing on the gas, like divine feminine, like, really bringing it up there, while some of us, like bringing it up, but then, pumping on the brakes, and, and letting the people with their foot on the gas know, like, hey, of course we're bringing this back, but it's for balance, As a matter of fact, I think, shout out to Miss Maria. I think to one of the sisters I been talking to as of recent, and spoke on like the females being able to have babies without a man, And that's a real interesting thing, or I should say amazing thing, just in its essence of being, but also just I was thinking about like just the information on it and stuff like that. It's real interesting, and it's something good for people to know, like, man, like females are able, or were able, anything is possible with the mind, so I just say are able to have babies without men, what I'm saying, without any. Now, with that being said, of course it's cool to know these facts and bring them up, but then that's when the divine feminine's push forward becomes like, well, now it could become like how say for how the masculine energy took the female away from things, that vibe of like women having babies without men, of course, is a cool thing, and if it's meant, it'll happen however it's meant to happen. But again, being strong about that idea, a little bit too much, could cause the same conflict that been going on. So it's like now you're trying to eliminate men from existing, in essence, indirectly. Like you don't really, again, you as a woman too, you've been suppressed for so long, what I'm saying? You kind of like, just all the way with your, and two, that's the flip side of the trick of where, they got a lot of us all thrown off, they got some of the men over feminized, and they got some of the women, you know, over masculinized. Oh, I got that out. But you know, where you're overly like about you know, your feminine energy, when indirectly, you know, that's still throwing things off because you're using masculine energy to on a strong level that kind of throws off you bringing up your feminine energy, if that makes sense. But again, you know, with all these things to shine a spotlight on the divine feminine energy and to raise the divine feminine energy up, it's raising it up to bring balance. It's not raising it up so one could take over the other. Even with you know, the physical nature, like all the yin and yang aspects, you know what I'm saying? Light and dark, physical, non-physical, you know, electricity, magnetic, you know, like it's for all that to come together. Because through times, you know, and that's where, you know, the Christ consciousness vibe and the realization of, like, you know, looking at past lives and history, like, all right, this is where history failed us. And it's her story, his story, however, this is where it failed us by one side. Matter of fact, by the illusion of I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, I'm right, or whatever. You know, that illusion is what keeps all this in this, you know, insane cycle compared to, you know, bringing about a balance. And I think about like how some of us, you know, the shaman position, the bodhisattva, you know, that zen, you know, neutral being area, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's that. And I also wrote down here, you'll see it, I never said it just now, but also a little bit to do with the Papa Legba, Elegua, Ishu, or Lord Ganesha energy. But you know, like I did a video not too long ago about like Papa Legba, the reason why he's like considered the trickster, and you know, and he's always, you know, laughing and you know what I'm saying, the trickster, because the trickster is riding the line in between the seen and unseen, you know, or feminine and masculine. So he's seen as a trickster because one moment he's big and like he's connecting with this side, then another moment he's connecting with this side, and when he's connecting with this side could be like, oh, you a trickster, you was just on my side, and then this side could be like, oh yeah, you a trickster, you was just, you know, like, and riding that in between point, you know. And that's what a lot of us are. A lot of us, like, you know how a map that says like you are here. A lot of us, you know, with the shaman vibes, with the, you know, the bodhisattva vibes, we are on that line that's, you know, in between. We're that, like, you know, the little part that's dead in the middle, while some people are like, say for instance, the feminine aspect, you know, like coming very strong. Some people in the middle of this black area, some people in the middle of this white area, you know, or both this black and white area make up one circle. They in the same circle. So it's, you know, that person, you know, in the middle space, you know, that neutral spot to shine the light and bring that balance to the situation. Because again, it's not about one side overpowering the other, because then it would become a, you know, a never-ending, which is already a never-ending story, but it'll definitely be a never-ending story of this side took over this side, and this side took over this side. So we're just gonna be constant, you know. And again, the outside world is a reflection of our inside world. So as long as our masculine and feminine energies within ourselves are at conflict, then it'll be at conflict outside of us. The biggest thing is about working inside. Like, it's not about going up to nobody and letting them know about Zen, or letting them know about all these. Of course, that helps to, you know, shed light or give information to somebody that can help them spiritually. But again, you know, it's a balance of the situation. I kind of forgot where I was going because another thought popped into my head. But like at one time too, again, like on my spiritual path, I was thinking like we was raising the vibration to where we was just going to eliminate our humanity, like where we just like eliminating all physical nature. And to a certain extent, you know, that may be true, but not on a level where we're changing the physical completely. Like we're raising the vibration so that the physical can raise to a higher dimensional, a higher vibration or a different dimension or a higher dimension, but not necessarily meaning that the physical is just going to cease to exist. There's so many end of the worlds or apocalypse situations, but the earth ain't never went nowhere, It's still here. So to say like, all right, this is a situation where, something about to happen to the earth or, where we got to get completely out of now this is the thing where, and this words is just bullshit, and that's why learning about spiritual growth gets tricky, because all these words, these spells that throw off the message that's being delivered. But it's about raising our vibration and getting closer to our soul. It's about making a toroidal field, our torus field, spin more and making our aura bigger. So when we transition, aka go through death, we could bring that memory, our memory of existing in a past timeline or come, with us, or just more so the memory of being something more than a human will travel with you. So when you take the next step after this, you'll have more of a choice, compared to like where if you don't, like you're still blinded and you thinking you're a human and you think so-and-so died for real, and, and just, then, your energy won't elevate, and you kind of like involuntary, just gonna kind of fall back into the mix. But again, it's about raising the spirit, but not to the point of taking the material part of us out either, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a balance, from the root to the crown chakra, which is more chakras than that, but excuse me, digging in my eye, I feel like the eyelash fell in my eye. But it's about, again, about a balance between the masculine and feminine. So it's not about being overly physical or being overly overly spiritual, or you know what I'm saying, or to where you're not connecting with your physical nature, because in essence we're here for a reason. Now again, all of us have different aspects of what we're bringing. Some people are meant to be more closer to spirit than the physical, because that energy is gonna usher in, again, we're dealing with a situation where the feminine, spiritual, soulful energy, the magnetic energy, has been neglected for so long and suppressed for so long that to bring back a balance, it has to come in strong, But again, once it brings in that that strength, comes in strong, then it's time to level things out, create that balance. But it's definitely about being in that that middle place, no wrong, no right, because again, when you're right here, you can't see this side is wrong or this side is right, or this side's right and this side's wrong, because you touch bases with both sides, But again, back to electro being a trickster, kind of like on both sides, as above, so below, how humans associate a person. Oh, you're not loyal to just my side, you're dealing with too many other people, or this and that, and it's like that's where that the trickster vibe come from, but that's more from a human level. This is not a human situation we're dealing with. We are souls on a human experience, realizing what we truly are. So it's not being a trickster or being somebody that's taking both sides or wishy-washy or all that type of human shit that we apply to the terminology of, oh, you're not on my side or you're not on my side. It's not about being on the side. It's not about wrong, right, black and white, masculine, feminine. Not being on one side of either one of those sides. Not being like, oh, I'm on the feminine side or I'm on the masculine side. How about bringing both of those sides together in marriage within yourself, in union. That's why all these old gods, in essence, was always a male and a female, female and male aspect, Isis and Osiris, can't think of the other deities. As soon as I say that, I would bring the Ida and Pangala, which is not viewed as a god, but like just the different aspects of the male, female, Adam and Eve from the story of your, the Bible, which is Helios Biblios, or the Sun Book, like the shining like the Sun Book. But that's basically it. I just kind of want to find different ways of just, relaying the message that it is a balance. It's not one side. Even when I bring up the sexual situation where I'm like, should you be tied down or should you be free? It should be, in essence, of course, to each his own, but it'll be a mixture of both, in essence, balancing those realms out, where you don't feel like, all right, logically, or like on this boundary level, like you are mine, I am yours, we belong to each other, we own each other, and bam, that's the strong masculine logical aspect, and the strong feminine is like, oh, be free, have sex however you want, whenever you want, and both sides could be detrimental, because if you're, if you little too free, you could be taking on all kind of, and now again, to each his own, because we all built different, and to be in essence, like what brings balance again, some of us meant to be right here, but some of us are meant to be dead in this area or dead in this area. Not dead. Some of us are meant to be in the middle of this area, in the middle of this area, So some people may be closer to the, more open vibe with the sex, and some of us may be closer to where, there's a certain partner that I like to deal with all the time, closer to that aspect. But it's realizing that neither side is right nor wrong, like it's all the experience, and you deal with what experience you choose to deal with, But it's about a balance, It's not about overdoing one side or the other, because if that happened, then we would either be getting burnt by the sun or overran by the water, like something would be overly, overly felt, and it would just throw off our, existence, to where if it was overly watered, then only the people who could, swim, could, which, speaking of swimming, I had a download of like indirectly like how jokes, like the deeper subconscious place of the jokes, like the reason why not so much because they say stereotypical black people can't swim or whatever, but I think about like how it's a play on the physical and non-physical aspects. So matter of fact, to this, kind of within this conversation right here, but like how how the melanated people may get clowned, and it's all in fun and games. It's not for one side to but how the melanated people, darkly melanated people, or quote unquote black people, get clowned for so say not being good swimmers and stuff like this on a physical level, and they're being clowned by some people who are lightly melanated or may aka be white and can't swim in the subconscious waters on a spiritual level. So it's like one person may have a trouble swimming on in the subconscious waters, while somebody has trouble swimming in the physical waters, But if that person that could swim in the physical waters pretty good, that person that could, swim the subconscious waters pretty good, came together and taught each other how to swim, you would have, a little balance, and everybody know how to touch bases on, on all levels in essence. But I did think about that. It's like, one clowning the other, and they both could swim in essence, but which that joke there, like, I don't know. I'm from Louisiana, man. I don't know, like at the park, like swimming, like that's what we do. I don't know, in the hood, stuff like that. Like, man, we can't wait till the pool open so we could jump off the big board and go swimming and stuff like that. So, for me to hear that little stereotype about swimming, matter of fact, we be in bayou water and stuff like that. So that when I heard that little joke, stereotype, whatever, like, it's like, well, I guess so. Maybe in other places, not where I'm from, but again, different perspectives. Not fast why we come down here with these different, situations that we put ourselves through. It creates a different perception, where a person having their mom in their life or not having a mom in their life, being poor, being rich, quote unquote, being born with a limb or being born without, without a limb or with all, like all those different things create a different aspect. Because the person who, has a limb missing gonna have a different view on the world because they got to do things differently compared to the person with limbs, or the person that has both parents has a different view from the person, and each view is all important. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one view is better than the other. You know what I'm saying? It's all. It all makes sense collectively, But that's basically it on the situation of it's about bringing about a balance. So it's not about trying to kill, like it's not trying to kill the ego. We're trying to bring the ego to a healthy place. We're transmuting energy, just like there's the microcosmic or orbit. But like, the energy flowing from the root chakra, from the lower, from the lower nature, lower parts of the body to, the high vibrational part, and then back down, recycling that energy, that's what it's about. It's about bringing a balance, and not one side winning against the other. Because that's when you come into the vibe of the ego of like, I gotta have one side, I'm on one side of the situation, then that's why you're having trouble dealing with your spiritual growth, because you're creating separation within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a feminine and masculine aspect that exists within you. There's a physical nature and a non-physical nature. As much as a lot of us would like to just go straight back to the high vibrations of the less physical existence, you know what I'm saying? The reason why you can't just snap into it like that is because, you're here for a reason, whether, no matter what the situation is, you're here for a reason, and if you're in a physical suit, that means for you to get along with it. If I go to Mars, just for, if I go to Mars and, to go to Mars, my soul needs a Mars bodysuit. So when I go to Mars, I'm not gonna get there and be like, well, you know what? I'm so high vibrational and I'm so much of a soul. Fuck my bodysuit, and start damaging my bodysuit. And then as I'm damaging my bodysuit, my soul's suffering. As well. It's like it gotta be. It's a relationship of balance. It's not about one trying to kill the other or one trying to eliminate the other. It's about a balance of energies. So just, keep that in mind, when we're dealing with our spiritual growth. We like to get to that place of taking one side, and going against the other, but it's about that mid ground, again, the shaman, wearing the crystals, because a shaman is going to be in areas where the vibration ain't always high, where, and I think to Tupac, interview where he spoke up, like how he's speaking from a church aspect, and we know we don't really deal with that, but he was just trying to make the point too of, in essence, where, talking to God and creating a spiritual connection, it's more for the people who are down and out, and who, you know, really need that connection, you know, in essence, compared to somebody who got a lot of money and, you know, everything is all good and they just going to church every Sunday just to, you know, on some social, like I'm in church, you know, and look at our little gold plated walls in church and look at, you know, the little stained glass, but you're a person that, you know, that in essence, you know, it needs to, I'm trying to find the best way to say it, because I mean, in essence, everybody could use a spiritual connection, don't get me wrong, but like some people out there, like again, like how I think about like the people who are the meanest and the people who hate the most and people who, you know, the people who it seems are the people who, yeah, the people who it may seem like it's harder to love, you know, is the people who need love the most, you know what I'm saying? That person wearing the KKK hoodie, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think I left a K out of there. Anyways, not that that's important. But you know, that Klan member is the one who needs love the most, you know what I'm saying? Donald Trump, you know, George Washington, Albert Pike, you know, Queen Isabella, like all these different people, man, like, they really needed hugs. Like they needed love, you know what I'm saying? That's the people who needed love, not the people who kind of already got it in essence. You know, how we, you know, of course ain't nothing wrong with like vibrations coming together and we show love to each other, like, hey, what's up, reflection? But you know, we got it. There's some people out there that, you know, that could use some of that love and energy to help uplift themselves, you know. So it's just something to, you know, to deal with. But that's basically it, you know. Balance. It's not about one side taking over the other. It's not. I repeat, it's not. You know, so all the people with the over masculine ideas and over feminine, you know, again, on the over feminine side, of course, that energy is coming in because things have been over masculine, you know, for so long that, you know, it takes a strong feminine energy to come in and shake that up to bring back balance. But it's not for, you know, things to get overly, you know, feminized, you know what I'm saying? Again, because that's just going to create the same cycle, the same bullshit over and over again. You know, and I think we all could agree that we didn't come down to repeat. Doing the same thing over and over is insanity. So as much as some people like, you know, as much as, matter of fact, as much as spiritual people, you know, like to clown the government and the sheeple for doing, you know, being insane, on a spiritual level, you're being insane if you're trying to be on one side of the situation and overly, you know, rise up one side. Now you're being insane, you know, because now, especially if you're connecting to past lives and you understand what we've been through, but if you understand what we've been through, then it's insanity to keep on, well, all right, yeah, overly feminized, all right, and the masculine energy gets suppressed and then it's like fucking and come out raging, and so it's like, oh, over masculinized, and the feminine come back up, and it's like, you know, it's insanity for especially, it's even more insanity for somebody that consider themselves to be spiritual, a light being, a high vibrational being, to not get the fact that, you know, it's not about repeating the part of our, you know, old story that didn't work out for us. You know, we see that, you know, that part didn't work out, so, you know, we bringing back these energies, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's with the knowledge of like, all right, remember what happened last time, you know, and why things didn't work last time. You know, that needs to be used moving forward, you know. Use the past as a you know, like a reference, a reflection point, you know what I'm saying? But not to go back into it, to dwell in it, but use it as a reference, like, all right, hey, y'all, we used to do this, that, and the other. We need to be moving like this in the now. Since we did this insanity in the past, you know, we need to move in a more sane manner right now, doing this, that, or the third, you know. So, peace. Have it now. Now it's to vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. You know what I'm saying? Not going too far in the past. Right now. Now it's the vibrate.